The arrival of the sisters, the human stepped carefully across the rocky surface of the alien planet, his boots crunching against the red dust. He looked around and saw nothing but empty plains and jagged mountains. The sky was painted in shades of purple and green, strange storms forming in the distance. He shivered slightly, not from cold, but from the feeling that he was not alone. He had been sent here for a simple mission, to explore the uncharted lands and gather data, yet something in the air told him that this mission would be far from simple. Suddenly, a bright light appeared. In the sky, cutting through the storm clouds, it grew closer and closer, until it became clear that it was not a storm, but a ship. A sleek vessel unlike anything he had ever seen. It moved with precision, almost as if it was alive. His heart raced as the ship landed with a soft hum, the dust swirling around it. And then the doors opened, revealing two figures, two alien women stepping out together. They were both tall, slender, and had an otherworldly beauty. Their skin shimmered like polished stone. Their eyes glowed softly. One had eyes like deep sapphire, calm and steady, her expression unreadable. She moved with grace and control. The other had eyes like molten gold, bright and lively, her smile mischievous, her steps quick and playful, yet both carried a presence that demanded attention. The human instinctively felt that these were no ordinary beings. "We have waited for you," the one with sapphire eyes said, her voice calm yet firm. It echoed slightly. Almost as if it came from inside his own mind, the human felt a shiver run down his spine. She continued, "The time has come. You must make a choice that will affect more than just yourself." The words were strange, heavy with meaning, and he did not understand yet what they meant. The golden-eyed sister laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes. "Do not look so worried, little human. We are not here to hurt you. Yet." Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. She circled him, studying him as if trying to see inside his thoughts. The human tried to speak, to ask questions, but no words came out. He felt trapped between fear and curiosity. He remembered the mission, briefing, the notes about alien interactions, the warnings about unknown customs, but nothing had prepared him for this. Two alien sisters waiting for him, claiming that he must choose. He wondered, choose what? Choose who? His mind raced, trying to find logic, yet he felt that logic would not help here. The sisters walked closer, their movements synchronized, yet each expressed a different energy. The sapphire-eyed sister placed her hand gently on a crystal orb she carried. It glowed faintly, casting light on the human's face. "You must understand," she said. "This choice is not simple. It carries weight beyond your world. Your decision will touch lives, not just here, but in places you cannot imagine." The human swallowed hard, the gravity of her words sinking in. The golden-eyed sister stepped forward, her eyes locking with his. "And do not think this is only about us," she said, her voice playful but serious underneath. "Your choice will define paths you do not yet see, paths filled with danger, and paths filled with hope." She smiled. And for a moment he felt a strange warmth, a hope that he had not felt since leaving his own planet. He looked at them, one calm and mysterious, the other lively and bright, and felt a strange pull toward both. His mind screamed to flee, yet his feet stayed planted. He realized that running was not an option. Not now. Not when fate had brought him here. He could feel it, the threads of destiny weaving around them, around him, binding him to a choice he did not yet understand. The wind picked up, carrying dust and whispers from the alien plains. The sisters stood silently, waiting, watching, their eyes never leaving his. He felt the weight of their patience. 2 months they had waited. He remembered the messages he had received from his command, strange alerts about alien activity. Yet nothing explained why these two had appeared now. At this precise moment, then, the sapphire-eyed sister spoke again, her voice steady. You have seen us, you have felt our presence, but soon you must act. Hesitation is no longer safe." The golden-eyed sister tilted her head, her eyes glinting. "And remember," she added, "sometimes the choice you do not want to make is the one that will save everything." The human's heart pounded. He realized that the next moments would define not only his path, but perhaps the fate of many worlds. He looked at the sisters, at their beauty, at their strength, at the unspoken challenge in their eyes. And he knew one thing clearly. This was only the beginning of a test that would push him beyond courage, beyond fear, and into the realm of decisions that no human had faced before. As the sun dipped behind jagged mountains, the human took a deep breath, steeling himself, knowing that he would have to choose. But not yet. Not tonight. For the shadows grew long, and the sisters waited, patiently, silently, their presence filling the air, and the human could feel the weight of their gaze, a weight that promised that the story had only just begun. The challenge. The human woke before the first light of the alien sun, his mind racing. He could still feel the gaze of the two sisters, sapphire and gold, even though they were not in sight. Their presence lingered like a shadow in his thoughts. He remembered their words. "The choice you do not want to make is the one that will save everything." He shivered, unsure what it meant. Yet he knew he had no choice but to follow them. He stepped outside his small shelter, a structure the human had built from alien metal scraps, and saw the sisters waiting near a glowing portal. The air around it shimmered like liquid, twisting and bending light. The sapphire-eyed sister spoke first, her voice calm and commanding. "The test begins now. You will face 3 challenges. Each one will push you, body, mind, and heart. Fail any, and you may not leave this place alive." Her words were firm, yet her calmness made them more terrifying. The golden-eyed sister smiled, a glint of mischief in her molten eyes. "Do not be afraid," she said, circling him. "Or maybe, you should be. We will see how brave you truly are." Her laughter was soft, but it carried an edge that made his stomach twist. The first challenge was physical. She led him to a cliff overlooking a canyon filled with swirling violet clouds. "Cross it," she commanded. "Use only your strength and wits." The human peered over the edge, his eyes widening at the dizzying height and the strange winds that tore at him. Stepping onto the narrow floating stones, he felt them shift beneath his weight. The air howled, trying to throw him off balance. Every step was a fight, every breath a risk. Yet he pushed forward, gripping rocks, leaping over gaps, his mind screaming that one misstep could mean death. When he finally reached the other side, he looked back, the sisters standing silently, observing. The sapphire-eyed sister nodded. "Good," she said. "But this was only the beginning." The human wiped sweat from his brow, unsure whether to feel relief or dread. The second challenge tested his mind. The golden-eyed sister led him into a vast chamber, walls glowing with shifting symbols. Floating holographic images of alien creatures and planets swirled around. "Decode this," she said, her voice playful. "It will take your mind and your courage. One mistake, and you will never leave." The human studied the symbols, realizing. They formed a pattern, a riddle that combined logic and instinct. Hours seemed to pass in moments as he worked, the symbols shifting faster with each failure, his hands shaking, his heart pounding. But he finally cracked the code, and the chamber fell silent, the walls glowing green, signaling success. But the sisters were not done. The final challenge was emotional. The sapphire-eyed sister spoke. "You must face your fears, your desires, and your truth. Look into our eyes and tell us. Who do you choose?" The human froze, the weight of their gaze crushing him. The golden-eyed sister stepped closer, her eyes searching his, her tone soft. "Do not lie, or you will fail everything." His heart ached. He felt torn between them, one calm and wise, the other bright and fierce, yet both holding pieces of something he could not understand. Then the ground shook. A sudden tremor, and the glowing portal began to pulse violently. Alarms of light and sound filled the air. The sisters' patience broke, their calm faces showing, the first signs of worry. "Time is running out," the sapphire-eyed sister warned. "Make your choice, or it will be made for you." The human's mind raced, images flashing, planets in peril, the faces of creatures he had come to know, and the sister's eyes, waiting, demanding, pleading. His instincts screamed. Yet a small voice inside told him to wait, to think, to find the truth hidden in their eyes. The golden-eyed sister whispered, "Sometimes the bravest choice is not the obvious one." And in that moment, the human realized that this challenge was not just about picking a sister. It was about understanding them, understanding himself, and seeing the unseen threads of fate that bound them all together. The portal pulsed faster, lightning crackled around them, and a voice from deep inside his mind, not his own, echoed, "Decide. Now." The sisters held their breath, waiting, the air tense, the sky darkening. The human took a deep breath, knowing that the next move could change everything, not just for him, but for worlds beyond his own. And as he opened his mouth to speak, a shadow moved across the ground behind the sisters, something large and unknown, unseen until now, moving fast, and he realized with a jolt, the final challenge was not just a choice. It was survival itself. Secrets revealed. The human barely caught his breath. The shadow that had moved behind the sisters vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving a silence heavier than any storm. He looked at the sisters, their eyes wide, a flicker of worry crossing their perfect alien faces. The golden-eyed sister whispered, "You were not supposed to see that. Not yet." Her voice trembling slightly. And for the first time, the human realized that even beings so powerful had secrets. The sapphire-eyed sister stepped forward, her calm mask returning. "What you have seen is only part of the truth," she said, her voice firm. "Our world is in danger. A hidden war rages, one that will not wait for your decision or anyone else's." The human felt a chill run down his spine. A war he could not see, a danger he could barely imagine. Yet, somehow, he knew it was real. The golden-eyed sister's hands shook as she spoke next. "We came to test you. Yes, the challenges, the choice. They were meant to prepare you. But now, there is no time." She looked at him with eyes that shimmered like liquid fire. "The one you choose will become an ally, a leader, and together you must face what comes next." Her words hit him with force. He realized this choice was not just about the sisters, it was about survival itself. The human's mind raced, the weight of their revelation pressing down. "A hidden war! What kind of war?" he asked, his voice barely steady. The sapphire-eyed sister's gaze sharpened. "A war of secrets, of power, of betrayal," she said. "Our enemies move in silence. They strike without warning, and one wrong decision could destroy everything you hold dear." The human shivered, but his heart burned with determination. He had faced danger before, yet never like this. Then, the golden-eyed sister stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "And there is something else, something you must know about yourselves." She looked at him intently. "You humans are stronger than you think. Your courage, your empathy. It is not a weakness. It is your greatest weapon." The human felt a spark, a glimmer of hope. Even in the face of overwhelming odds, he had faced challenges before, but never one that tested not only his strength, but his heart and soul. The sisters moved to the glowing portal again, and the human followed. The chamber shifted, walls dissolving into a map of stars, planets, and unknown worlds, lines of light connecting them in intricate patterns. This, the sapphire-eyed sister said, is the network of influence, the threads that bind our worlds together. Your choice will determine which path becomes dominant and which ends in ruin. The human stared in awe, the universe itself unfolding before him like a puzzle, the sister's words echoing in his mind. Then, an image appeared, a planet engulfed in fire, creatures fleeing in chaos, and a shadowy figure standing above, its form indistinct but radiating malice. "This is the enemy," the golden-eyed sister said, her voice urgent. "They strike from the shadows, and no one knows when or where." The human's pulse quickened. He felt fear, yes, but also a fierce determination, the human instinct to protect, to survive, to overcome rose within him. The sisters exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them. The sapphire-eyed sister spoke again. "You may not understand all of it, not yet, but your choice, your courage, it could tip the balance." The human swallowed hard, the gravity of the situation overwhelming. He realized that choosing a sister was no longer just about companionship. It was about strategy, trust, and survival. Suddenly, the portal pulsed, violently, revealing glimpses of shadowed warriors, alien ships moving at impossible speeds, weapons glowing with lethal energy. The human stepped back, heart hammering. And in that moment, he knew the next step would require every ounce of his skill, every shred of his courage. He turned to the sisters. I understand," he said, his voice trembling, yet firm. "I will make the choice, but first I need to know everything." The golden-eyed sister nodded. "Very well, human. Prepare yourself, for the secrets you are about to see may change you forever." As the portal opened wider, revealing worlds in chaos, alliances broken, and power waiting to be claimed, the human felt a surge of resolve, fear mixed with determination. He was a human, small in the face of vast galaxies, yet his mind, his heart, his instincts, they could shape destinies. And he would not fail. He would face whatever came, with courage, wit, and empathy. And as the first shadow moved closer through the portal, the human realized something chilling. His choice was no longer about sisters alone. It was about saving worlds, defying impossible odds, and proving that even one human could change the course of the universe. The sisters waited silently, watching, their expressions unreadable, and the human took a deep breath, ready to step into a future filled with danger, secrets, and the weight of destiny itself. He knew that once he chose, nothing would ever be the same. The decision approaches. The human stood at the edge of the portal, the swirling lights of countless worlds reflecting in his eyes. The shadows he had glimpsed before now moved in patterns, almost alive, weaving between the stars like predators. The sisters were close, their hands brushing his shoulder, grounding him, yet he could feel the tension in their bodies. They were waiting for him to choose, but something in the air told him that this choice could not wait. The sapphire-eyed sister's voice cut through the hum of the portal, calm but urgent. "You must understand, human, every second counts, one wrong move, and the enemy will strike through every world connected to this network." The human nodded, feeling the weight of her words press down. He glanced at the golden-eyed sister, who smiled faintly, her fiery gaze softening. "And yet, sometimes the right choice is not obvious. Sometimes courage comes from hesitation," she whispered, almost teasing. The first wave of shadows appeared fully, massive armored figures moving with terrifying speed, their weapons glowing with lethal energy. They were not human, not alien, as he had known, but something in between, terrifying and unfamiliar. The human felt fear claw at him, yet his heart beat faster with resolve. He had faced danger before. He had fought odds he should have lost. And now he understood. This was not just about sisters. It was about survival itself. The sisters gestured for him to follow, and the human stepped through the portal, instantly transported to a world engulfed in chaos. Cities of strange architecture burned, alien creatures ran for safety, and above it all, the Shadow Army advanced, their numbers overwhelming. The human's mind raced. He needed a plan. But the sister's eyes told him something he could not ignore. The choice he would make now would shape the outcome. The sapphire-eyed sister spoke, her tone firm. The first test was about strength, the second about intelligence, the third about heart now. Your final choice will define not only your path, but the path of worlds. The humans swallowed. Looking between them, their differences clear. Sapphire, calm, calculating, precise, golden, fiery, unpredictable, passionate. He could feel the pull of both, each representing a future, each offering power and guidance. Suddenly, the enemy army attacked, tearing through the alien city with precision. The human barely dodged energy. Blasts, debris flying around him, yet amidst the chaos, he saw something. The sisters' abilities were immense, but limited. Each could fight, each could protect. But together with him, the balance could shift. He realized that the choice was not just emotional, it was strategic. He had to decide who would lead, who would follow, who would complement his own strengths. Then the golden-eyed sister grabbed his arm, her voice fierce. "Do you see now? Hesitation is death." And the sapphire-eyed sister's hand rested on his other shoulder, whispering, "Or do you see that patience is power?" The human's mind spun. He thought of all he had learned, the challenges, the portal, the shadows, the war, the hints in their eyes, the secrets revealed. They were testing him. Yes, but also guiding him, teaching him to see beyond the obvious. As he hesitated, the enemy army advanced faster, tearing through structures, capturing allies, spreading fear. The human felt the pulse of the worlds around him, as if the stars themselves were watching, waiting, and he knew in that moment that the choice would have to come from his heart, not his mind. Yet, even as he decided, a sudden revelation hit. The shadows were not attacking randomly. They were targeting the sisters, as if they knew that without one, the other was vulnerable. He turned to them, fear and determination mixing in his chest. "I see it now," he said, voice firm despite the chaos. "It is not just about choosing one. It is about trust, about understanding, about seeing the unseen." The sister's eyes widened slightly, sensing his realization, and then a massive energy strike landed nearby, throwing the human off balance. The golden-eyed sister screamed, and the sapphire-eyed sister's form blurred as she tried to shield him. The human gritted his teeth, adrenaline surging. "I have to act," he shouted, and in that instant, the human understood. The decision was not just about who he chose. It was about how he chose to fight, how he would protect them both, how he would use his courage and intellect to survive. And just as the shadows closed in, the human made a sudden move, leaping between the sisters, drawing the enemy's attention, his mind calculating, heart racing, his choice forming not in words but in action, a choice that would shock the sisters, and perhaps shock the universe itself. The sisters watched, frozen, as he executed a plan that no one could have predicted, combining strength, wit, and courage. And for the first time, the human realized something terrifying and thrilling. He was no longer just a participant. He was a leader, a force capable of changing destiny itself. And as the first wave of shadows fell to the unexpected strategy, the human looked at the sisters, sweat and dust on his face, chest heaving, and whispered, "I know what I must do, and nothing will stop me." The sisters' eyes held shock, awe, and a flicker of fear, and in that moment the universe seemed to pause, holding its breath, waiting for the final choice. The shocking choice. The humans stood between the sisters. The portal behind them flickering, the shadows closing in faster than ever, the air thick with tension, every heartbeat pounding like a drum. The universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting for his decision. He could feel the pull of both sisters, golden-eyed, fierce and passionate, sapphire-eyed, calm and calculating, each representing a path, each a future, yet the choice was more than desire, it was survival itself. The golden-eyed sister stepped forward, her voice trembling but strong. "Choose me, human. Together we can fight. Together we can win." Her fiery eyes locked onto his, burning with hope, fear, and trust. And in that instant, he could see the worlds reflected in her gaze, the chaos, the fire, the enemies falling before their combined power. The sapphire-eyed sister's hand rested lightly on his arm, her voice steady, almost hypnotic. "Or choose me, human. Think, plan, act with clarity, every move precise, every outcome considered." Her eyes, deep and endless, held the wisdom of galaxies, the calmness of stars, a promise that together they could outwit any danger. But hesitation meant death. The human's mind raced. Time slipping, shadows advancing, energy blasts tearing chunks from the ground. He remembered everything. The tests, the secrets, the war, the lives at stake. He realized then that the choice was not between sisters, not between power or passion, but between instinct and strategy, courage and wisdom, heart and mind. He took a deep breath, feeling the pull of the universe in his chest. And then, in a move no one expected, he extended his hands toward both sisters, touching them gently, not choosing one over the other. The golden-eyed sister's eyes widened, the sapphire-eyed sister's jaw dropped, and the shadows froze, as, "If the universe itself had stopped, I choose both," he said, voice steady, heart racing. "Because the fight is bigger than one, because we are stronger together. Because courage without wisdom, and wisdom without courage, will fail." The sisters stared at him, shock turning into awe, realization dawning that he had done the impossible. He had found a choice beyond. The binary, a human solution, uniquely his. The golden-eyed sister stepped forward, flames of power igniting around her, and the sapphire-eyed sister's form shimmered, stars sparkling in her eyes. Together, they merged their abilities with his, a trinity of strength, strategy, and human instinct. The shadows advanced, thinking victory was theirs, and then the human acted, a single plan executed flawlessly, combining both sisters' powers with his, creating a wave of energy so strong it shattered the enemy ranks. The battlefield changed in an instant, chaos turned to order. The shadows fled, confusion and fear rippling through their ranks. The human's heart raced as he realized. He had not only saved the sisters, he had saved countless worlds. The sisters looked at him, awe and respect glowing in their alien eyes. We have never seen a human act like this," the golden-eyed sister whispered, voice shaking. The sapphire-eyed sister smiled. "Calm now, but fierce. You were always meant to be more than a human, more than a choice. You are a force," she said, and the human felt the weight of his journey, the danger, the tests, the war, all leading to this moment. The impossible choice, the solution that no one expected, had succeeded, the portal stabilized, the worlds behind them safe. The enemy, defeated, the human, chest heaving, looked at the sisters, and in that moment, a bond formed, unbreakable, not of desire alone, but of trust, courage, and unity. He had proven humanity's greatest strength, not strength of body, not strength of mind, but strength of heart. As the trio stepped forward, the stars themselves seemed to bend around them, shimmering, acknowledging their victory. The human knew this was only the beginning, but for the first time, he felt certain No force in the galaxy, no shadow, no war could ever break a unity forged in courage, wisdom, and compassion. And as they vanished into the portal, leaving behind the battlefield, the human whispered to the sisters, "We are ready, together." And the universe seemed to smile. For even a single human, guided by heart and mind, could change the course of destiny itself. The shadows retreated. The worlds healed. And the human, standing between the sisters, knew one thing. With absolute certainty, he had chosen the impossible, and in doing so, had become a legend.